Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we are on the Greek island of Crete. It's July. It is peak tourist season, which means the beaches, they're full. Accommodation, it's booked out. Restaurants, there's lines. Museums, it's packed full of people. We've got 10 things you can do to either, one, make traveling peak season maybe a little bit cheaper, but also some things you can do to eliminate a little stress and make traveling in peak season a bit better, so you're not super frustrated with the tourists and ticket lines and stuff like that. And the first thing you need to do, you need to start planning early. Look, deciding to come to Greece in June, that you want to go in July, look, it's going to be tough to find the accommodation. It's going to be tough to get the cheap tickets, things like that. You've got to book out. So if you know, maybe it's Christmas time, or maybe even in the fall, you're like, where should we go next summer? Why not come to Crete? Now you want to start planning. You want to start looking for those flights, because the airlines basically start putting out the flight tickets for next year, anywhere from 9 months to a year beforehand, so you can get there early. And sometimes you can get really great deals, even for really popular destinations, if you book early. Now, you don't have to book a year in advance or 9 months in advance, but the earlier you book, the better chances you are of, one, finding the accommodation you want, but also two, being able to get a price that you can afford, okay? So that's one thing you should really think about, is starting early to get those flights and the accommodation. Second tip I have for you is compare different websites. Look, you can look online, and maybe you like kayak.com or Skyscanner or Delta or whatever. Look and see what one site gives you for a price, then go check out another one, because you'd be surprised how different the prices can vary. And another tip is, when you are checking these things out, make sure you put your computer on incognito mode or secret mode, so it's not collecting the cookies, because some places actually collect the cookies and they see, oh, you keep looking for this flight to Paris, oh, we're going to jack up the price because now it's the 6th time you've looked, so we're going to make you think you need to buy now. Take off the cookies, take all those things off, make sure you're surfing incognito mode, and you might get some better prices then. Now, my third tip for you is, when you're looking for accommodation, maybe don't stay in the popular city you want to go to, stay outside of it. For example, Amsterdam all year round is pretty popular, especially on the weekends, and the prices are sky high. Well, what I recommend to do is, don't stay in Amsterdam, stay in Haarlem. It's literally like a 20-minute train ride in, and you have this beautiful town you can stay in with a fraction of the tourists and also a fraction of the price to stay there. So that might be someone you look into. So if you're going to go to Oktoberfest in Munich, well, it's going to be hard to get places to stay in Munich at a decent price. Maybe you stay in Nuremberg or Bamberg, or maybe you stay in Salzburg and take the train in. So there are those options. So maybe stay at the town right outside. You want to go to Cologne? Stay in Bonn. I mean, it's an easy ride to get there, and they have a lot of nice places to stay at a lower price. So that can be kind of cool. Now, my fourth tip for saving money in peak season, look, restaurants sometimes have higher prices, but they usually kind of stay the same. But it can be frustrating trying to get a restaurant, especially in big groups with your family and things like that. So one of the things I find easier in peak season is if I can find accommodation I can cook in. We're here outside of Heraklion. We've got this beautiful little matoki, this little house in the vineyards and stuff like this. Full kitchen, we can cook here, we can eat here, we can make Greek food here, and we don't have to deal with the crowds in town and all this kind of stuff. So having that place to eat really can cut back on some of the costs, especially breakfasts and dinners and stuff like that. Now, my next tip for you also has to do with accommodation. When you're looking for accommodation in peak season, realize the more amenities you have means probably a higher price. And so maybe don't book hotels that have amenities that you're not going to use. Look, we are here on Crete. There's beautiful, beautiful beaches, crystal clear water, great place to be. Do I really need a swimming pool when I'm going to go to the beach every day? Maybe not, okay? Also, yeah, the hotel has a gym and a spa and a sauna and all those nice things. Am I going to really use those? I'm on vacation. Maybe I use the gym, maybe I won't. But the thing is, if you cut out those amenities, you can cut down some of your prices. So that might be another way you can kind of cut a little bit of the cost off of that peak season travel. Now, the sixth thing I have for you deals with when you're going to go out and explore. Look, the crowds in peak season in Paris and in Greece and Spain, I mean, they can be quite overwhelming. I mean, going to the Louvre or going to the Prado in Madrid and things like that, you're just like, oh, there's so many people here. Look, one thing I recommend is start early. if you start early, if you're in a town like Rome, where a lot of the things you want to see are just outside, you just want to see the Colosseum from the outside and go look at the Vatican and these things. If you start early in the morning, the tourists aren't there. And I don't mean you have to start at 5 a.m. I remember because we go to Rome usually every year because I love Italy, I love Rome, it's great. But I'll start at like 8, 9 in the morning and I'll have an hour or two before the tourists really start showing up, because the tourists really start get going about 10, 11 o'clock. So that way you can see some of the city without the crowd. So start early. And if you're going to go to a Disney World, this isn't a European thing, but if you're going to go to a Disney World or an amusement park, it works the same way. Get there first thing in the morning so you can get on all the rides you really want. So then by the afternoon, when all the tourists are out there and they're all hoarding everywhere, you've already been out for 5 or 6 hours. You know what? You can say, you know what? I'm good. I want to head back to my apartment and relax for a bit. You can do that, and believe me, we do that quite often. I actually film most of my videos in the morning because there's no tourists around, so it is really nice. Now, my next tip has to do with the countries you choose. Look, if you want to save money in peak season, you go to cheaper places. You go to the Spains, the Portugals, the Greeces. These places in general are more affordable. So when you go there, you might have peak season pricings for Portugal or peak season prices for Spain, but they're now nowhere near as expensive as like a Norway or a Denmark, so you can save money that way. Now, my 8th tip kind of follows off of that. Look, if you want to go to some more of the popular countries and things like that, one of the things you can do to try to beat the peak crowds is, instead of going to the really popular spot, go to the second or third most popular spot or an alternate spot out there. So instead of going to Paris, maybe you go to the Loire Valley or Normandy, or you go down to, you go see Grenoble in the mountains, and you see those things, because you get that feel of France that you want, but you don't get overrun with all the tourists like you do in Paris. And the thing is, you can go and fly into Paris, see that for a day, then go explore the rest of the country at a smaller price. And the thing is, if you're in a place like Greece, Santorini is just packed in the summer with partying and people and tourists and all kinds of stuff. But you go to another island like Catalonia, you can go there where there's a lot fewer tourists and a lot lower prices and have a similar experience at a fraction of that cost. Now, the 9th thing I have for you is, when you're going to book your tickets, okay, be open to where you fly in and out of. This ticket this year, we actually flew into Sweden and we're flying out of Greece. Why? Well, I got a really great deal with SAS, so I flew into Stockholm and then I visited the Baltics and things like that, and it was a lot cheaper than just flying in and out of Greece by itself. And this way I got to see other friends, see other places, and do that. And if you are more open to that, you can save yourself some money. I mean, I saved about $200 per person on the tickets, which with 4 people, that's $800. Hey, that's renting an apartment for a week here, okay? So it's quite nice. And so you do these kind of things to kind of make it a little bit better for you. So try to be open with the tickets and open with the destinations you're gonna fly in and out of, because they can really cut down on the cost. And my 10th tip for you is, book everything you can before you come here. Look, if you want to go to the Louvre, the line is insane in peak season, but you can pre-book your ticket and skip the line. I want to go see the Vatican museums. The line is 2 kilometers long. So what should you do? Pre-book the ticket before you come so you can skip the line. Oh, I'm in Florence. I want to go to the Uffizi, but the line is really long. You can pre-book your ticket so you can skip the line. Little things like pre-booking tickets whenever you can save you so many headaches. It will make your life a lot easier, okay? Now, these are 10 things that we do to make traveling in peak season a bit better, and we use all of them. I won't lie to you, every single one of these we use to help us save money so we can travel all the time. And that's when people ask us, Mark, how do you afford all these things? We use budget tips like this so we can travel in the peak season in July, but also use similar things like that to travel in January when no one's going. So I hope this helps you get a better idea of how you can travel better in peak season, whether it's here in Greece or the US or wherever in the world. I hope it really does help. And if you like travel videos like this and you want to learn more, click that subscribe button. We put out new travel videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Anyway, oh, if you want to talk to us, we're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's all Wolters World, and we really appreciate your likes, subscriptions, and I'll say bye from Crete. Have a good time in the peak season, shoulder season, off season, whenever you travel, because it's always a great season to travel. Bye.